Hello everyone, welcome to Homework Help. If you find the videos useful, please subscribe to the channel. So in this video, we'll find the inverse of these five functions. So let's start with the one on the left side. So this function is given to us in function notation. So f at x equals 3x plus 1. Now the first step here is to change the function notation with y. So we can rewrite the equation as y equals 3x plus 1. Now the next step is to switch the x and the y. So the equation becomes x equals 3y plus 1. And now we have to solve for the new y. So for that, we'll have to isolate y on the right side of this equation. So the first step is to subtract 1 from both sides. So the ones on the right side cancel each other out. So we get x minus 1 equals 3y. Now we can isolate y by dividing each term by 3. So the 3's on the right side with y cancel each other out. So we get x over 3 minus 1 over 3 equals y. Now we can combine these two fractions. We can write them as a single fraction since they have a common denominator. So we get y equals x minus 1 over 3. So now in our final answer, we have to use the inverse notation for function because the given function uses function notation. So our final answer will be that the inverse of f at x, which we write like this, is equal to x minus 1 over 3. So this should be the inverse of the given function f at x. Now we can work on the second function. So again, this function uses function notation. So first we'll replace the function notation with y. So we get y equals 6 minus 5x. Now we have to switch the x and the y variables. So we get x equals 6 minus 5y. Now we have to isolate y on the right side of the equation. So we have to get rid of the 6 first. So we subtract 6 from both sides. So the 6's on the right side cancel each other out. So we get x minus 6 equals negative 5y. Now we have to get rid of the negative 5 with y. So we divide each term by negative 5. So on the right side, the negative 5's cancel each other out. So on the left side, we get, so we x over negative 5 becomes negative x over 5. And then negative 6 divided by negative 5 becomes positive 6 over 5 equals y. Now we can combine these two fractions because they have the same denominator. So we can rewrite this as y equals negative x plus 6 over 5. So this is the inverse of the given function. So now we just have to use the notation for inverse of a function. So we write the final answer as the inverse of f at x equals, so negative x plus 6 over 5. So this should be the final answer for this second function. Now we can work on the third function. So again, first the step is to change the function notation to y. So y equals 3 over 4 x plus 2. Now we can switch the x and the y. So x equals 3 over 4 y plus 2. Now we have to solve for new y. So we subtract 2 from both sides to get rid of the 2's on the right side. So we get x minus 2 equals 3 over 4 y. Now we have to isolate y. So first we can cross multiply the 4 from the denominator. So we get 4 times x minus 2 equals 3y. And now we can divide both sides by 3. So the 3's on the right side cancel each other out. So we get 4 over 3 times x minus 2 equals y. So now we can write our final answer in the function notation for inverse function. So it will be the inverse of f at x equals, so 4 over 3 times x minus 2. So this can be the final answer for the inverse of the given function. Now we can work on the next one. So first we'll replace the function notation with y. Now we can switch the x and the y. So x equals negative 1 over 5y minus 2. Now we have to isolate the new y. So we start by adding 2 to both sides. So the 2's on the right side cancel each other out. So we get x plus 2 equals negative 1 over 5y. Now we can cross multiply the denominator 5. So we get 5 times x plus 2 equals negative 1y. Now we can divide both sides by negative 1. So the negative 1 on the right side cancel each other out. And on the left side, so 5 divided by negative 1 will be negative 5 parentheses x plus 2 equals 1. So now we can write the answer in the function notation for inverse. Now in this case we have a choice of either distributing this negative 5 into the parentheses, or we can keep the answer like this. So it should be correct both ways. So the inverse will be, so negative 5 parentheses x plus 2. Or if you want to distribute the negative 5 into the parentheses, the answer will be negative 5x negative 10, because we'll multiply both terms in the parentheses by negative 5. So now we can work on the last function. So the first step is to change the function notation to y. Now we have to switch the x and the y. Now we have to isolate y. So the first step is to cross multiply the denominator 4, or we can also multiply both sides by 4. We'll get the same result. So we get 4x equals y minus 3. Now we can add 3 to both sides. So the 3 and the negative 3 on the right side cancel each other out. So now we are left with 4x plus 3 equals y, which can also be written as y equals 4x plus 3. And now we can write our final answer using the function notation. So the inverse of f at x is equal to 4x plus 3. So this should be the final answer for this last function. So these are the steps you have to keep in mind to find the inverse of these functions. So I hope you'll find this video useful. Please share it, like it, and subscribe to Homework Help. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye.